My name is Anthony Warner. I'm a development chef and food writer. I work with New Food Innovation on various innovation projects related to health and sustainability. My background is in cooking and in food, but I am interested in topics around health and sustainability and nutrition. I write a blog. I'm sort of known online as The Angry Chef, and I've written a trilogy of books about food science and sustainability. And I'll be talking today about some interesting food topics that have come up over the recent weeks, but also some general thoughts on food innovation and health and sustainability. An interesting story in the news recently, which kind of feeds into some of the topics I'm interested in. It's about the precision nutrition startup Zoe. And something that happened to them regarding an ASA complaint about one of our adverts. They had an advert on Facebook, a paid ad on Facebook last year, for their Daily 30 supplement, which is, they're a precision nutrition startup, but they also sell some products. And this product is sold in Waitrose and various things online. Essentially it's a bag of seeds. It's not a product I'm particularly fond of. It's a bag of seeds which you sprinkle on top of your dinner to give you extra nutrition as a sort of supplement. And the ad quoted Stephen Bartlett, who's one of their investors, and he said, it's got no ultra-processed pills, just real food. There was a complaint to the ASA, largely because the product contains a couple of ingredients, chicory root inulin and some nutritional yeast flakes, which in the opinion of the ASA were not didn't classify as just real food. It fell into this sort of idea that they might be considered an ultra-processed ingredient by consumers. And so, the complaint was upheld. The advert, that they can't repeat the advert, even though it was just a sort of temporary Facebook advert at the back end of last year. And what the reaction from the Zoe team was pretty significant. There was a huge number of interviews with Tim Spector, the founder, lots of people connected to Zoe posted about how this was completely disgraceful and they were being targeted as being little guys and their products were not ultra processed, and the ingredients within the whole 30 supplement could be bought in any sort of any supermarket and could be made in home kitchens. I'm not sure many of us can make chicory root extract and nutritional yeast flakes in our own kitchen, but that's for other people to decide. Whether it is a UPF or not is, I wouldn't like to comment on that because the UPF classification system is extremely unclear. And there's grey areas. Maybe it's not, maybe it is. I really don't know. Other people might be able to comment on that better than me. But the thing that it tells me is that there is this grey area. And that's a problem with the whole UPF classification system. Now, in my view, Zoe, over the years, and people connected to Zoe, like Tim Spector, have been very much behind the UPF narrative, the ultra-processed foods narrative, and have communicated about it to their followers and to the people who signed up to their scheme, and written a lot about ultra-processed foods and then the potential links between ultra-processed foods and health harms. So that's interesting for me because now they're sort of saying, well, even if some of our products might be classified as UPF, they think they can sort of identify out of being an ultra-processed food and say, no, that's not us. We're the good guys. We're making something that's good, and we're doing something that's trying to benefit health, and we shouldn't be classified within the system. And that's kind of the problem for me. I mean, Zoe also have their own food classification system, which classifies various products, including wholemeal bread, for instance, or certain brands of wholemeal bread as being high-risk foods. And I think that's a difficult position for a food manufacturer, someone selling branded food products in major retail, to say these products that other people make are high risk. Most people would probably consider wholemeal bread to be a reasonably good source of decent nutrition that's affordable. Well, one of the big problems I have with this is that for a lot of companies, it seems that ultra-processed foods are the stuff that other people make and the stuff that other people eat, and companies and individuals feel they can identify out of making a UPF or being a UPF, and you can't. That's the problem. The problem that I've had for years with this classification system is it's quite ill-defined, and it can categorise some healthy things as being an ultra processed food, which people then, the insinuation is that that's an unhealthy option. And I feel that's a real problem in the food industry. And I guess people like Zoe are starting to realise that. They've been living by the sword and getting behind the UPF narrative. Now they're finding out that it can turn around and bite them, and they might actually sort of die by the sword. And I think that's probably why they are been so adamant about protesting against this ASA rule, even though it's probably something that's quite a long way in the past. But there's a certain, perhaps, Streisand effect going on where they're talking about it a huge amount, and that's probably drawing attention to it. Whether that's deliberately drawing attention to it, because maybe it's good publicity for them to be positioned as a little guy fighting against these sort of the ASA and other food authorities, I don't know. But yes, I feel like they are perhaps learning a lesson that if you grab the UPF tiger by the tail, it might eventually turn around and give you a bite.